we go. I was like, hey.
I feel like I've always got perma smile as we wait.
And I feel like hi, Cassandra.
Hey, Danielle, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. And happy Wednesday. It's like
Oh gosh, is it only Wednesday?
it's
I think
only Wednesday.
last night I sent a funny picture to my mom and she said, "Thank goodness tomorrow's Friday." Haha, just kidding. Yep. Thanks for rubbing it in. Feels great.
Although I'm not ready for Friday, so I need it to be Wednesday. So maybe it's good.
Yeah, that is a very truthful and good observation.
Yeah. Well, I have beautiful beads from your shop.
So many
And I
beads.
love the palette you made.
Well,
And
I cannot say how much I love whatever it is that's happening on your tray. I don't even know what form of jewelry it's going to be. I just know that I love what it looks like.
oh, thank you. Oh, hey, Rosalinda.
Oh, there. Hi.
Hey, guys.
Oh, good. Your comments are showing up because I streamed to my page. I didn't know if I'd be able to see everybody's comments. So far.
You can see them too.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey,
oh, yeah. Okay. Awesome. Hi, Tina.
Hey guys, we have a special show for you tonight. So I am obsessed with Cassandra's seed bead palettes that she does a monthly palette mix. Her shop is called Beads to Live By. And I realized I need to start dropping some links.
I was going to say, if you want me to be in charge of my own links, I am happy to do that since you're running this show this evening.
Oh, wait, if you got them handy.
Oh, yeah. It takes me a couple of seconds.
Sure. So what, and I will add all that also to the descriptions. I think, I can't remember if I already put them there or not. I think I did, but my memory lately.
I'll put it in the private chat to you at the same time as I do it to the public comments. That way it's all in one spot, so you don't have to go search for it.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So we're featuring, I believe this is your August palette?
It is, even though it's already the end of August. Oh my goodness.
It's available though, folks can go find it. I think I saw it when I checked yesterday and you still had some.
Yes. So the link I just shared is for people to sign up for future subscriptions, just so people don't get confused. But then I'll go through and share the link where people would go to find the most recent subscriptions, because once they've shipped out to our subscribers, people can go in and purchase the beads individually after the fact.
Oh, awesome. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I love that because I get excited about certain colors and then I want more. And so now I know where to go.
Well, and it's also my like kind of cheat of if I went through and like labeled all of the beads that we sent out in the subscriptions prior to actually shipping them, people would have to wait like 2 weeks between when the subscriptions rolled over and when the shipments went out. So this way people can go look up what they received as well, for the sake of just knowing what it is as far as like color code. I arbitrarily name all the 2-hole beads. So like if you're a 2-hole subscription delivery person, then it's like all those names are partially from my years of experience with the check glass and knowing kind of what the industry standards are for like naming those colors. But some of it's just like, I really think this looks like a blueberry shade of purple. So sorry, guys. I just need to like switch it up sometime.
And you're very knowledgeable about, like you mentioned, you've been to the Czech Republic and you've done a lot of shopping there. And so you're very familiar with both the manufacturers and the processes and all the color names, the different types of beads.
So funny story. I was just explaining to someone at the shop earlier, maybe it was last week, that I don't think people realize that when you directly import the Czech glass, the people who actually like create the beads and put the finishes on them don't always label those names or even create names for those colors. It's all like very long and intricate number codes, sometimes with some letters involved. So a lot of that can be very arbitrary if you don't have some kind of a predetermined system for the names, because the color codes do link back to like the basic glass colors and certain types of finishes, but it doesn't always match up with like what some of the importers So if like as a bead store, I buy from US companies who then have imported stuff from the Czech Republic, they assign their own names. And sometimes it's different from one company to the next based on like the color of the glass or the finishes. And that's something I didn't realize until our first trip in 2019, which then I was like, oh, great, even more ambiguity and things to try to figure out.
Yep. Yeah, it's such a cool, interesting world, but it is for shop owners, it is definitely like a lot of work, I would say, to create your own. You basically have to create your own system, I feel like, to kind of.
Yes. And just when you think you've got it all fine-tuned, then you get to change things up as we were talking about before the podcast.
Yeah. I'm definitely in those growing pains of small business world.
I would say your firsthand experience is becoming quite palpable, I bet, with all the things you've been doing with your job lately.
It is. I need all the advice I can get. For sure.
Wow. I'll do my best, but I do feel like a lot of things, sometimes people are just really good at being self-taught. And I feel like you're one of those just like very self-motivated people. So you're going to be just fine.
I'm good at learning the most painful way possible. Trying it myself and then figuring out, well, that was the wrong way to do that. Let's go and try this.
Always a possibility. Hey, yep. Susan. Hey, Sheila.
Hey, guys. Well, so thank you guys so much for joining. Tonight I was going to show what the first thing that happened on my bead mat was when I saw this beautiful collection. So
I love how it's like, it happened, like, spontaneously.
It's just so wonderful. And and Linda's she's from Australia, and she's telling us she's got one more day of winter. And I'm sitting here saying, I got one more day of summer.
I was starting to read the comment and I was like, is this like an old comment that's popping up? And then it started to click that maybe not in this particular continent.
Yep. I know she's in Australia, so
how cool.
She's getting ready to have warmer weather, and we're getting excited about fall. So
well, I know I certainly am. Maybe not everyone.
I'm a fall girl for sure. Definitely.
Yes. Well, and speaking of fall, this palette was very much inspired by the fact that even though people would receive the delivery in August, they would be working with it probably into September and October, which is definitely the beginning of full-on fall weather for Michigan off and on. So that was, I tried to ease into it. Like, this is my late summer palette is what I would call it.
I adore this palette. I think it is amazing. And I've already opened up all of the beads, and I've put them out on the mat, and I have plans for, I just love the way you match the Saturn with the bead colors, because there's a blue in here, and then there's the like kind of like almost like a wine color.
Yes.
This is so pretty. So what I did was and just in case anyone's not familiar with the palette collections, they come with all the bead sizes. So as a seed beader, you can appreciate how amazing it is to open up a package and have size 6 seed beads in 2 colors, size 8 seed beads in 2 colors, 11s, and drumroll.
Your favorite part of the collection.
No one ever gives you the size 13s, and you always need them. You always end up wanting them for something. And I have them now. So there we go.
I've found that even the most like stringy Czech glass oriented friends that I have, I'm starting to win them over. Like, the 15s can be really helpful a lot of the time. So
they really, really can. I think that they're, they don't always end up being the bead that you make the project with, but they're needed to either finish it or embellish the side. Or in the case of the design that happened for me with this original just landing idea, was to do a herringbone kind of like a medley. So it starts with the 8 O's, but then immediately I wanted to cover my thread step ups with my 15 O's. And so I had 2 colors to work with. And so I just made it look so fun and different and neat.
It's like one of those scarves where people transition between the different types of yarns and colors. I just love it.
Yeah, I feel like it has that fall feeling of a scarf too, doesn't it? It's like those colors are there.
You're in it all the way now. There's no turning back from the autumn.
It's so true. So true. And so
Well,
I'm
if
just looking these
anyone's
out so folks
noticing,
can get a cute look at them.
oh, I was just gonna say, if anyone's noticing my bead mac looks familiar, it is the leftover things from my little party with Heather Powers on Monday. And I was sharing with Danielle that I was having some like audio trouble, so I didn't get to like talk through much of what I was doing. But I've got some things, like I finished my bird bracelet, and this is something that I will share the steps either through a little PDF tutorial or through a video later on. But I'll show you guys some of my earring ideas during the video in between while Danielle is working through your project, because I've just got a few different things. Heather and I traded some beads during the Jackson Bead Festival. So I've just got some fun ideas that are kind of milling about over here. But I can't wait to see all, I mean, like every time you show your bracelet, I'm like, ooh, I noticed this. Ooh, I noticed that. You've got so much going on and it looks so beautiful.
It's just all your beads looking gorgeous on the mat. Did you want me to highlight your mat first to show a little more about that? And you said you did a live with Heather from Humble Beads, right?
Humble Beads, yeah. That was on Monday on her channel, and she did several beautiful projects too with the beads that I traded with her. But no, I want to see what you're doing first, and I'll go through my stuff like when you have like a lull or something.
All right. I'll make this the big screen just real quick then.
Perfect.
And just so I can show a little closer up view of what I did at first. So I just dumped out all of the beads, and again, there's 2 of every size, 2 colors in every size of the beads. So I have a very happy full mat right here. And then there were 2 fire polish colors also that, well, there's more than one fire polish strand, but I so far have only used these 2 here. One is like is this a crystal with a gold lining? I believe that.
Yes.
This really sparkles. This kind of a bead, it becomes the thing in the design that really makes it. You can see how it just really, what it does for that. I feel like it really gives it something.
So fun.
And then when you move it, it does the sparkly thing.
Well, because you're getting like the glint from like the cut glass on the outside combined with the lining of that like metallic gold on the inside. And it's such a like subtle bead on the strand, but I think you're right. It's just totally gorgeous, worked up within the project.
I love the way it looks. And then those beautiful warm ones. These ones are those. Oh my gosh, they look like chocolate. With a nice
I'm trying to sit here and remember the individual color name, because when I do these fire polish bundles, they're all like 8 strands combined into a bundle. And so I don't have the color names individually listed, but that bead is like either a chocolate or brown with like a gold luster metallic. And honestly, Danielle, someday you'll have to see my like full bead collection, because it's embarrassingly large, and I'll go through things and go, oh, I have like 25 hanks of this bead and didn't know that it existed.
That's a nice problem to have. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no complaints. It's just more, it's a little embarrassing to admit.
Also, I can relate to how that might be kind of overwhelming too.
Yes.
Whisking it and getting it all described and put on the web. Oh, yeah. I feel that. But it's our gain when you do, because these are beautiful beads. And then when you put the colors together, I basically don't have to do anything except for the fun part. Those get to be my favorite stitching. And so that's all I did here was I started a herringbone. Now, earlier today, I was getting a question in earlier in I think it was on my shop. I can't remember where it came from, but I think I saw Maya. Are you here? Maya asked me about herringbone stitch, and I'm like, hang on a second. I'm going to demo that tonight.
Yeah, I see Maya Larson has commented.
So she was asking about herringbone, and so I thought, what luck. I'm actually demoing that tonight.
Oh, that's so fun when that works out that way.
And so this is something a little bit I won't say advanced. It's not advanced. It's just the fact that we combined so many beads together makes it just something where you want to think about the balance between the sizes of the beads. But other than that, really, sky's the limit. There's no there's no like requirement to combine certain size beads with others, for example. There's just
No, not at all.
yeah. And so like I just did a bunch of testing. So
I would say, if anything, from previous teaching experience, that someone might start off, if they've never touched herringbone stitch before, with like just a basic herringbone with like 1 or 2 bead sizes, like one in the middle and one on the edges, just so they get the feel of it. Because then, and your tutorials are so good that I think once they've done something like that, they would not have an issue with following a pattern like this.
yeah, that's exactly right. I wonder if it would make sense. I think we have time. I could show how I started it because that's really the beginner thing is like starting with 8 beads.
Oh, you do have like just the plain potatoes at the base. Well, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to tell you how to run your
Well, actually, I think
tutorial.
that's kind of where I was going with it because I got the question earlier and I was thinking, you know what, that makes sense because to dive into this part, you kind of need to see this part. And then I thought, well, hey, I could start with the other color because I wanted to start with the other color earlier too, but I couldn't decide. I was having paralysis. So I was like, hey, this is a good idea because it will help me get to see both colors.
Perfect. Now you get your wish.
Yeah, exactly. But all I did was just like a basic ladder to start it. And so the ladder stitching is where you just pick up 4 beads and leave it. I've got a really short strand here, but you want to leave a longer tail depending on what you're going to do with your tail. If you're going to make a clasp with it or an attachment for a button, something like that. I've got a button loop going here, but for starting it, always just leave maybe at least 10 to 12 inches. Would you say that's right, Cassandra? About
yeah, it's for me, I agree with you. It really depends on how I'm like finishing things off, but based on what you're describing doing, especially so people can reinforce it, that sounds like a great amount of thread to leave. And for those of you, which I get it, sometimes we don't know what like 4 inches or 12 inches looks like just arbitrarily.
yes.
Pull your ruler out just to double check, because I know like the length of my hand is 8 inches from pinky to thumb, but a lot of people will stare at something and go, oh, I bet that's like 4 inches or 8 inches and it's actually 4 inches or something like that. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was just thinking out loud here that like this strand that I've started working with here is actually super short. And I bet you that's not going to get me very far. I pulled it out of my little scrap can next to me from something I was doing earlier.
What was that?
Well, I'm using a super short spare scrap of thread. And I don't know if you do this, but I save my scraps of Fireline because you can fuse them.
Like you fuse the pieces together? What?
Yeah. Have you ever seen
my gosh.
Oh my gosh, we got to do that. Okay, I'm going to work at that short strand again. Let's bring it back.
Just when I don't know that there's anything new under the sun, it's like, bam.
You know what though? It's the craziest thing. And I learned it at a bead store that I used to go to learn to bead. It's gone now, but I used to go and learn there. And they used to get their Fireline at Cabela's, the fishing store.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, wow, but it's not, it's the same, but it's like, I didn't know if this was going to work or not with the real beading thread, but it did. And so here it is. I'll show you. Okay. So, actually let's do that now. It'll still work with what I want to do. Okay. So I'm using 8-pound.
Yeah, that's my go-to as well.
Is that your favorite as well? You see the bead weavers, all of the 8-pound. It's interesting.
I do, to be honest, I do love some 10-pound Wildfire, but it doesn't work with everything. So sometimes you do need that thinner thread, and then I will even bump down to 6-pound if I'm doing bead embroidery. Although I do love some like 1G and Sono for that too.
I love those threads. Those are my favorites. You want colors?
Yeah.
So here's the end of my short one, and this is the new one coming right off my spool. And I'm just going to tie our good old double knot. I'll try to get that to go. There we go. And it doesn't matter how long these little tails are because they're going to go away. But so basically there's just good old double knot, just like I'm tying my shoes. And then I need a thread burner. each of these ends, each of these little tails, I'm just going to turn them into little mushrooms.
Sorry.
I'm just like verbatim repeating what the friend that taught me this, that was her term for them. She's making little mushrooms.
It makes total sense. I've never heard anybody say it that way, but yeah, it is like
that was her, like, so I have to credit her because I stole that, but yes. So she's watching. Thank you.
I feel like I'm watching magic happen right now. I'm so excited.
But that part of burning the ends, that's kind of key because it won't work without that.
Right. I'm assuming I know why, but I'm going to watch and like learn. Bam, guys.
There you go.
Danielle's not just a bead artist. She's a magician.
Oh, it's so cool. I love doing that. So,
well, I had just written thread burners off because I've never been a huge fan. And now I feel like I have to retract my previously held beliefs.
I bet you could do that with a lighter if you, or even like, the new candle lighters, but they just make heat.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. So Carol was asking what sizes you used. Have you used all of the sizes in the
Yes, I used every
I was gonna look them off in the comment.
So basically all of these.
All right, sizes.
So I'm gonna demo that for you guys to show you. I just I got distracted because I was using a short thread, and then I was talking about how you should leave a long tail, and I didn't have enough. And so I was like, okay.
We've gotten distracted easily, but I think it's all with good reason. Like that's an excellent thing for people to learn.
It'll save a lot of folks a lot of time. The only thing I would caution is the little knot. If you're using 8-pound like I am, getting it through a 15, it will work. It will work, but the first time you pull it through the 15, you're gonna have to straighten out your tension because it'll wonk your tension because it'll catch for a second.
I was wondering about that. That's helpful to know because it does seem like if I get a knot in my thread, I have a hard time pulling it through certain sizes if I like can't get the knot out. So yeah. Move along.
Exactly. Yeah. And so this kind of has that feeling, but it'll go through. It's just more like I'll use my fingers to stabilize those 15s right before I'm going to pull them.
Well, and probably the type of 15 you're using would make a difference. Like if it's a lined color versus like unlined or the brand as well. Not to bend everybody's brains too much, but
true story. Although these ones that you sent me are generous. They have no trouble with like a size 10 beading needle.
I think they're either Miyuki or Toho, like depending on which color you're looking at. And those both do have, especially the Tohos, those are a little bit more cylindrical in the 15s and definitely a generous whole size.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, and I just saw you posted the sizes here. This is perfect. Awesome. Yep. So that's
I think I got great.
You got it. And all of these are on your website currently, everything I'm using.
Yeah. So when people go to the page that I linked, I'll drop that link again that has like the past curated collections. The way that it works, because the subscriptions are done by type of bead, so like the seed beads are all listed as a group. So if you go to that page that I just dropped the link to, and then you scroll down to like the first line of products, and the title says August 2024 seed beads reordering list, reorder listing, when you click on that, there's 8 different products and you can add any one of those 8 seed beads to your cart. But I organize them that way so that you don't have to go hunting and picking and searching for the colors that go together. The colors that go together are all in the same listing there. Oh, great question, Helen. There's a mix of Toho, Miyuki, and Matt's seed beads in any given month. It's specifically done based on color, not just the brand.
Yes, I was seeing like these are definitely probably Miyuki right here.
Yeah.
And for herringbone, that totally works great. They're all gonna just each unique organic bead is gonna blend right into the next one, and just showing here that all of them work together. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's excellent for bead embroidery. You don't have to worry about, like your sizes being off. Really, I think the most fussy bead projects usually involve like peyote stitch, and as long as you're not trying to use all of the different brands together in one particular project, it's not, a very hindering sort of situation to be in.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. And everybody's saying they love your mix and they love the palette.
Thanks, guys. I really do love these colors. It's fun every year as I come up on like a seasonal time that I've done previously to like think about how to make it more interesting and different from the previous year, but still have it be seasonally appropriate. So I appreciate the love.
I think you totally got it here. This is so cool. And so I'm trying something a little different color-wise, but the same. I'm going to follow the same process that I did to start this one so I can show how I began this. And then if we can maybe switch to bringing this one on further, but I'll show you how I got there.
Awesome.
I started with these 4 8-0 seed beads. And you can use either color, whichever one you want. So there's the 4. And then I just went back through the first 2 and pull that all the way through until you get that little pop there. It looks like a little box or a little square. And I always go through the 2 that I added second. I always go through those again one more time. And you can even go through it a 3rd time just to reinforce it a lot. But I feel like that's probably good for a ladder stitch since we're going to end up coming back through these again for the herringbone row. So I usually just kind of go from there.
And yeah, then, it looks like the herringbone.
Yeah, so like depending on where you're going with it, whether or not you reinforce now versus just keep going, it's kind of how I usually think about it. Plus, I'm working with 8-pound right now, so it's good. And so I've got 2 more. And I'm going to go back through and just pull tight. Oops. So my little knot that I made is catching a little bit, but it's still, you just got to be ready for it. You got to expect it. You'll feel it kind of put some resistance on the bead when you go through it. And then just the same thing I did before. I'm just coming back through the second. And so one question that I was going to answer really quick is you don't have to make it this wide. You can make it smaller, but I would recommend working in stacks of like pairs, right?
Yeah.
So this one has each of these in herringbone stitches considered a column. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 columns. I really dig a 4-column design, especially for a bracelet, because it gives me a center point that's also a column.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
A little stitch out and like that. So I was going to do this, but if you wanted it to be only, for example, just like a little 6-column or even a little 4-column, those are possible. And a 4-column will give you a center point as well.
And the 4-column would even be a really cute, like either stacking bracelet or part of like a wrap design.
Oh,
saying, guys.
Oh, I love wrap designs. Now that's brilliant. Now I'm wanting to change.
I don't know about that, but it did excite me when I thought about it.
I know. Well, it would also mean we could pull in some of the larger beads from the collection. Like,
oh yeah.
So, oh my gosh, I need like 4 different lifetimes to do all these ideas. I'm so excited. But look at these, like these could pop on top of the 4 columns, right?
Absolutely.
You could just do like a step out column.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna need to do that.
If you could do a 2-column. Maya, I think it turns into something that even though it is herringbone, it's almost borderline
square stitch.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, I think it's square stitch that I'm thinking of. So
but I have a pattern for it. Actually, you know what? I almost did this with your collection. It's interesting. Okay, that's an interesting one. I should probably share that too. I used to do this with check glass flowers. So I would do a single column herringbone. I would start with 11-0, and then I'd go to 8-0, 6-0, back to 8-0, down to 11-0, and it would be wavy herringbone, single column, which is, I have it on my website currently. It's under patterns and tutorials. You got to scroll back in time a ways in the blog, but it's there with, you put a big check glass flower in the center, and then it's this wavy edges going out.
I'm going to look for it, Danielle, and see if I can find the link.
Yeah, you'll see it. It's got just like a big check glass flower. I was using like those really like 21mm ones. And
oh yeah, I have a
few. Cool one to do with with the collection from last month that you sent me, that one had the flowers in it. That was a cool one.
Oh yeah, I did. Your custom palette.
My custom. I love that. And so I'm just continuing to ladder here.
Your website is so beautiful, Danielle.
Oh, thank you.
You get so many lovely products.
Yep. And so Maya's asking, what stitch would you use for just the 2 columns? It's actually herringbone. It's the same thing. In fact, maybe I can just get through a few rows of this and then I'll demo that too. But it's the same exact process, pretty much in a nutshell. The only difference with single column is you're just working it in 2s instead of 4s or 6s or 8s. I do have patterns for odd count herringbone, having said that though. So there's it's like a rabbit hole. Seed bead weaving is definitely a rabbit hole.
We're sorry, not sorry, right?
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
my gosh. And it's like going through this is like going through your greatest hits. So Danielle, I will tell you, like the first time I like developed a bit of a like beading crush on you was when you did the tutorial with Nile and you did the capture chain with rows of some like fire polish and seed beads. This is from like December of 21, I think it says.
Oh yeah.
And I just thought, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a girl after my own heart. I absolutely love it. And what's crazy is it's 2 posts above the project that I think you're talking about. Is it metallic colored seed beads with those boho flowers?
I think that might be the one, yeah.
The herringbone tutorial.
I wonder if I could bring it up.
I will, I'll link it for you here because I think this is what this is. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And you've got other fun pieces that you did with like the laser etched check glass and like a multi-strand wrap color.
Yeah, and I did one that went round and around like a
yeah, I think that's the one I'm looking at. And a necklace that's amazing with like these turquoise daggers. Holy cow.
Oh, that was, yeah. There used to be a company. I don't know if they're, but they used to feature a designer every month.
Okay.
And so they sent me beads for that. It was one of the very first like times I ever got to do a project for a shop. And so
that's so funny. What a crazy path you've been on. These are beautiful. I love this project.
Oh, you posted it. Oh, thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, seriously. You concentrate on the beads. I will happily pull up links for us.
So yeah, this link, Maya will answer all questions about the single column. And then if you browse in patterns and tutorials here at this link that Cassandra posted, I have basic herringbone tutorials too, patterns, tutorials, videos that you can find there too. And I bet actually on your shop, you've got some too, right, Cassandra? You've got tutorials for herringbone versions.
It's a mix between like I have some of them linked on the website and those go both to our YouTube and to our Facebook page. But I have, almost weekly set of tutorials either on YouTube or Facebook. Like I flip back and forth sometimes. I need to get better about either doing both or doing like a sit down explanation start to finish on YouTube when I'm not live, because I think that that's part of my issue is I start chit chatting with like people that are commenting and then it's like oh
yeah I think on live videos it's more like I always see it like as beading with friends, and then if I'm going to do like a solid instruct, like I see over here Jenny was just asking if I'll do, because for this one, if you really wanted to do exactly what I've got here, you probably would want to know my counts and things like that. So I will definitely have to do like a little write-up for that. I literally made this morning.
I think we all appreciate the fact that you put effort into that kind of thing. Now,
I really appreciated when people did it for me when I was new, and so I always try.
Yeah. So Danielle, I know you do your like custom mixes. Do some of your mixes have multiple sizes of seed beads in them?
Not yet, other than the one I did for Soft Flex Customer Appreciation Week. That was the first one I've ever done with mixed sizing because Okay, so truth, I don't know how to mix them in the right ratios if they're not the same size.
You're so funny.
Well, because the little ones sink to the bottom of the bin, and then somebody will get all 8-0 and somebody will get like all 11-0 at the end.
I recently had some experience with that. Even the different colors of
Oh
seed
my
beads
gosh.
will like have a different weight to them depending on the brand and the finish. And my trick is just to like continuously mix and have it in a container that I can like continuously shift the beads around, and then I scoop like from the bottom up, and like switch back and forth between that and the top down. But yeah, I don't know if there's like a really good
Right.
recipe, so to speak.
So true. Oh goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick your brain on these things.
Well, some of this is a very recent development of things I've learned, because to be honest, like I've only started mass producing, well, and that's a like kind of over exaggeration, but like more production style with my kits and my delivery sets for like the subscriptions and stuff. That's a recent thing for us within the last 2 years. So
Oh, neat. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Becky loves your project, and
Hey,
Helen has
Becky,
a
hi,
question.
Becky. You guys check out Becky's channel. She
Oh my
has
gosh, right? So many
very
good
cool channel.
projects.
Very, very cool. I believe you just recently did a live with Becky, right?
We did do a live together, 2 different lives in the last month, maybe.
Yeah. I
Just
definitely tuned in
recently.
for at least one of those, I think. I was there for that
Oh
one.
yes,
It was
you
really
were there
inspiring.
for one.
Yeah, and so well, so where I got on here is so far I just did a ladder stitch, and I went ahead and went for the 8 columns to kind of match what I did here. And so I was going to show what the step up method that I used was. So, when you finish your laddered row, it kind of leaves you with your thread. If you're doing an even count like me, this is your tail thread, your working thread's kind of not in the spot you want it to be. You want it up here, right? And that happens at the end of every row in herringbone. So what I like to do for my step ups is I cover up my thread with some seed beads, and I have these handy dandy 15 seed beads generously included. And so I've got those ready to go. I string 3 if I'm gonna go next to an 8 seed bead. I like to go with 3 15s. And then I'll just go ahead and go through the bead above. And now I'm right where I want to be, and I've scored a beautiful side embellishment. And so that's how that's done there at the bottom. And so I'm going to do just like maybe one normal row of herringbone using just the same 8 seed bead. Size and color, I think, is what I did on this one. Actually, I'll put that back here so you guys can still see it. I did
Danielle,
one row.
your lighting is so good, and when you hold your beads up close to the camera, you can see so well what you're describing. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been obsessing over the camera.
I might need some tips from you on that, because I always feel like I'm not quite right in my light or whatever.
Well, it's much later for you. See, I still have daylight.
Okay, so that is part of the trick, isn't it?
Yeah, but I am using maximal lighting as well. And so I've got two more 8-0s, and that's what I did on this one. I did one row of herringbone with just all 8 seed beads. And so it looks just like this. You pick up 2, and you just go down through these 2 here. And then you just come up through the next column.
And that's the spot where everyone tries to add beads on the bottom, or like the front end of their bracelet, rather than go up first.
Oh, yeah.
This is a warning to everyone, because you'll try to do it, I promise.
That's true. Yeah, I think when I was first starting out, I think I did that. And you could do, I mean, if you're intending to put something like that on it, then yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come up through here, and then we'll get 2 more. But yeah, I will finish these. In the end, I'm probably going to have 2 colorways because I like the 2 different
You like
colors.
to start too.
But you know how you can follow a recipe but change the colors?
Yes.
That's kind of my trick for not having to illustrate more than one. It's like I'll make
Oh yeah,
one.
absolutely. You don't need to show more than like one combination to like give the right result of the,
Yeah,
tutorial. But
we'll just do like this is the bead size ratio for that row, and here's the order to pick them up. But so now I'm over here at this side, and I'm going to do that same thing again with the 3, and then I'm going to step up. And when I'm stepping up here, I got to go through the bead above. I went down 2 beads here because I'm in the laddered row, and in the laddered row you always kind of just go down through both. And so that's kind of a at the start thing. In here,
and you can do like a singular ladder row with like one bead, but I think this is so much easier, especially if you're new to herringbone, to start with like the double bead like that.
Me too. I think it's way easier. In fact, I don't do it the other way very often unless there's some reason why I need only one row, like pattern.
No, I agree. I prefer it for sure, even after all these years.
Yeah, me too. It's just faster. You get done faster. So this is ready to go. So now this is where I introduced some fun stuff. So I started using 11-0 and the 3mm fire polish.
I cannot tell you how much I love the fact that you're using the 2 different sizes in the same like plane of the bracelet, like across, because I think it creates so much interest. You already have that chevron pattern from the underbelly stitch, and then it's like all extra fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes out so beautiful.
It really does.
When you do the multi-sizing, do you always pick up the small bead first? I tend to do that.
Gosh, it's been a minute since I have switched back and forth like that, but I bet there's a reason that we would probably tend to do it that way, huh?
I feel like either will work as long as you stick with it. Because they stack.
Exactly. You have to be consistent.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say you could do either, but once you choose, you are committed to that choice.
Exactly.
And so I don't know if maybe it would have been easier with starting with the other one, but I've always started with the small bead first.
Okay.
Maybe just out of habit, because that's whoever taught me first taught me that way.
But then no matter which direction you're going, you continue to do that, right?
Exactly. And if you continue with that convention, then your larger bead will always be on the opposite side every row. And so I'm almost to the end of this one. And I don't know how far I'll get on this one, but I started doing crazier things as I progressed, because, with these stream of consciousness designs, you get to where you're just kind of like whipping out all the tricks. I was doing that with this as I got further on. I'll show as we get closer to it. You probably spotted it already, but I did something a little weird and different when I got up to like these rows. But so this one's so far so good. We've just got a nice little combo there, right? And again, I'm going to do this step up with 3 15s, and I'm just going to go through the fire polish bead. So just like that. And I end up with that. And I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to stack another row just like it, right on top. So I'm going to start with the small bead and then go to the larger bead. And just going to go down through this one. And so when you do it that way, they just nice and easily stack.
Well, and it helps even the sizing out of using 2 different sizes in the same row, because then reversing it like that allows them to like flatten out again. So far, at least.
Yeah.
I feel like you're about to like bend my brain a little bit, but
it's funny. I'm rebending mine because I'm trying to re-explore the earlier of today, Danielle's logic, when I was probably becoming caffeinated for the first time today.
Becoming caffeinated.
You have your first cup of coffee and you're just kind of like, oh, hello world. But then you give it a minute with the coffee and you're like, hang on. Yes, I have lots of ideas. And next thing you know, you're just like, it's
various stages of consciousness. That's awesome.
Right. I love that moment though. It's kind of it's like a cool little time of the day, right?
Peaceful.
And so I want to show a little trick here. I've got my last little segment here, or column, I guess you could call it, with the 11-0 and then the fire polish. And I'm going to go down through the next bead like we've been doing. But I'm also going to do one more thing. So we've been going down through the 11-0 and up through the fire polish, right? That's what we've been doing for this row. I'm going to continue down to this one just because I want to match my step up with that one. This is optional, and it's a perfectionist thing, and it doesn't need to happen that way. But if you like it, I'm just sharing all the little crazies that I do. And so there's that. And so now when I do my step up for this one, I want to make sure that I go through the 11-0, and I'm going to continue through the fire polish too. So I got through the 11-0, and I'm going to go through the fire polish bead, and that puts me right there. So where we are in comparison to this one is right about there. So from here, oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's perfect that you're using this other color of seed beads for the tutorial part, because I think it's a little easier to follow what's happening. The other ones blend so well with those fire polish that I think this is like, okay, you can really tell the distinction between the beads.
Yeah, exactly. They stand out really nice from each other. So I think that's really cool.
Oh, it's also fun. Now I want to do a bunch of herringbone. Danielle.
It's addicting. And then, so for the next row, it's just 2 regular rows. And then I started doing 11-0 with 8-0. Then I went back to 11-0 with fire polish again. So same thing we've been doing. I went back to 11-0 with 8-0. And then up here, I started doing something a little different. I started using the 8-0 with the 6-0. So again, picking up the small bead first and then the larger bead second. And that one made it grow like a little, like kind of looks like a dress a little bit. Like if the hanger was up here, and you could do a fringe now out of that if you wanted to, or keep going and make it wavy again. And so now I'm bringing it back down. But there's something that happened after I was at the 6-0s when I decided I wanted to taper it in. I was getting really big thread gaps here.
So you've got the inclusion there. Now I see it.
So this one's going to require like a little more, I don't know, I might have to do a write-up. And then I started changing my step-up counts to accommodate 11-0 because I was stepping up on 11-0s. So there's a lot going on here. 100%. And the end result's going to be, like I said, totally worth it. But maybe I can switch to this one and show what's going on here with the inclusion.
Yeah. So people have that like kind of visual from a video standpoint.
Yeah. I wonder if does it make sense for me to maybe, I can't decide if it makes sense to just start here or if I can start bringing this one up into 6-0s.
I would switch to the 6-0s. You did the 6-0s before you started the inclusion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'll help people to visualize the transition if you start with the 6-0s and then add the inclusion.
Makes sense. Yeah. So what I'm going to do really quick, I'm going to throw on a few rows of 8-0.
If there's any designers or other pattern writers out there, you're welcome for the free tutorial of like listening to us workshop how to teach people something.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm going to put on, I'm noticing, not 100% sure how I did that. Oh, I just missed the bead as I was traveling down. Do I want to fix that? Actually, maybe that's a great learning thing since maybe somebody else will encounter that. So I know what I did. Let me show you up close. Do you see that little thread? That will drive me crazy. Like, the bead will not be okay. So here's how to destruct. Pinch those 2 beads and just pull. And whichever side has your knot on it, if you do the knot thing, just to pull that side.
Okay. And folks, here's the point in the project where Cassandra would keep on going in the video.
I know, right?
I would be like, whatever.
And I should keep on going because I don't think anybody even saw it, but I couldn't. I just couldn't. But I know what I did, and I know it's so easy to fix. So I'm like, I'm gonna fix it. Okay, so when I was coming down from
no
this
judgment there, I was just laughing, like, okay, there's one tiny difference between us.
I know, because we're so alike. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to fix now, but I would never be able to fix it later. And
Exactly.
I'm going to up close photograph these when I get them done, and I'm going to do glamour shots for the PDF covers and how I get right. So my level of perfectionism it's really untoward. But that thread will show in my picture. I know it. I'm like, oh gosh. Oh, hey, Joan is here. Hi, Joan. Hey, Joan, we're seed beading, and I'm being a perfectionist, Joan. And it's only Wednesday, but I'll get caught up to where I was in like 3 seconds here. And see, now the thread is no more. Can't see it.
Becky, I think, is lamenting the fact that she's going to be forced to make one of these now this weekend.
Oh, no lament, happiness. Happiness.
I mean, it doesn't sound sad, but it was like a welp. Guess that's what happened.
My weekend. Well, hope for bad weather or something. That can always help.
Yes, because then you can just hide in your house and bead a little bit.
That's what I do. I'm like, oh gosh, it's raining. What a bummer. I live in Seattle.
Oh, it's raining again. Darn.
I guess I have to bead all day. Sorry.
That's hilarious. Now the truth comes out.
The truth comes out. I choose my city very carefully. So it keeps jumping because I have that little knot in it, but
the project is spontaneously bouncing around your trailer.
It's like a little rabbit.
I like it.
But I have some other little tips I was going to share. So when you get to this spot right here, and this is just, this is totally freestyle. So this is like in real time when you're working on something like this, you can problem solve it. There's always a way. So when you get to this spot, you'll notice that I don't really have a clean step up bead. So I've got this 11-0 bead now, and my convention has been to put 3 15s next to an 8-0, but I don't have that luxury here. So all I did for this one is I grabbed a matching 11-0 bead and then just jumped up.
Boom.
And nobody even notices that there's a little bead there, but I'll show it to you here. Yeah,
this should be called the magic bracelet or something. Magic carpet bracelet? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, I love the scarf description. But I'm going to start from this just a little bit, just to skip ahead, because I've shown all this, how to do all that. It's just, different beads being used, but the same process.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, on a few occasions, I used 2 15s to step up from an 11-0, and sometimes I used 1 11-0 and matched it. It just depended how it looked. I played with it and decided what I thought looked good. So in each of those cases. Now, when I get to the 11-0s, stuff started to happen. When I got to the 6-0s, stuff started to happen. So I'm going to switch colors really quick. Let's go. Do you think that looks good? I think it looks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so 6-0, I'm going to throw a row of those on. We're still okay for time, but we're getting close.
I know. I always shoot for like an hour, but when I'm with people that I enjoy chatting with, I always go longer than that.
Me too. I end up going over when I'm having a really good time and doing something I enjoy. And so that's where I'm at right now. I'm in my happy BD place. Yeah. And all that's waiting for me downstairs is dishes because it was pizza night. And so I have all the reason in the world to just stay here and just
Sounds like a good plan to me. We can do this all night. I'm just saying.
Me too.
I might have to go get some coffee, but
I know, right? But this actually does go pretty quick. And so I'm just going to do one of these really, really, really quick step ups here.
Definitely some beauty behind using larger beads in a project like herringbone or underbelly.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it faster too. So these rows take up a lot more length than the rows you're doing with the smaller bead. And so you end up getting a quicker result. And I'm going a little fast, but this is just the same thing we've been doing. And just if you play with the placement of these, you just get a completely different look every time. So it's just so fun. Just see what happens with your design.
Try my hardest not to distract you so you can get through the parts you're trying to show.
Oh, no worries. You can distract me. It's okay. I'm actually there now. So when you've got a row of the 6-0 like that, and let's say you want to go back down and start using, in this case, what I started doing was I went back down to 11-0-8-0. So let's do that. Let's do 11-0s and 8-0s from here. When you do that, you're going to get a thread gap, a pretty big one. I'm going to show the thread gap really quick. It won't happen in your first row. It'll happen in your second. But how pretty does that look? It's really gorgeous.
I love how it really feels like a showcases the beauty of the individual beads, but like alongside one another, the way that I feel like they're meant to exist as a set.
Yeah. It really does feel like a scarf, like I'm making a little beaded scarf.
It's like a little wrist scarf.
So now I'm going to make another row just like that, but something's going to be difficult to work. So here's my 11-0-8-0 going down through the second bead there, just like we would do for the normal herringbone rows. Help it sit. When you do the jump to the next bead here, like that. I'm sorry, let me get this out of the way. Do you see that thread? The way that that's just jumping like that? It's just too big of a gap. So what I did was I added a seed bead. And in this case, I used an 11-0. And I just used it to cover that gap up. And that's 100% of everything, every trick I've used so far in this bracelet.
This is like such a bonus herringbone tutorial because you're getting like 5 for the time of 1. All the herringbone things.
Drop, I made it drop. So, and the only other thing I noticed is that you need a little more assistance getting them to line up. So, like, I don't think I would call this one an advanced herringbone. It's just finicky, maybe.
Yeah, and there's just like I would say it's intermediate because I do think people would have a lot easier time doing something like this if they have, if they try one of your tutorials that shows like either a singular size bead or just the same bead throughout a row for.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Trying that first, I would recommend doing that.
But this is fantastic. Like if you've got any prior herringbone experience, I think like this just shows so many of the other things you can do with it all at the same time. It's really helpful.
Yeah. And so fast forward button.
No, exactly.
If you put the, if you keep going like that, so there's what 3 looks like. And what I'll do from here is I'll taper it down. The next row, I'll just put some 15s and then I can close it back up, right?
Sorry, I just dropped a tray of findings on the floor.
Oh no, I hope you don't have to pick them up.
They're well organized, so not too many individual ones.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Linda. Yeah, Linda has a beautiful YouTube channel too, guys. She knows the YouTube. We need you to click the like button. It helps us out a lot. Thanks, Linda. Oh, and be sure to check out her channel. So we're right at the hour. So I figured if you guys if you're loving this and you need to see more, I'll do, first I'm going to finish them. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of do like a little PDF write-up. I'll write up all the counts I used for every row. And then you can always just reference back to this video to see, how I did each of the different changes. But once you've got the basic herringbone concept, let me switch back to us all together here. Because I'm just talking in the ghost voice in the.
And I'm no longer like bent over digging findings off the ground.
I took the whole time and I didn't let you show your mat.
Oh gosh, no, I mean, I've been literally working through one idea this whole time that's not even finished.
Yeah? You
So
want to share it real quick? Can I put your screen?
I'll show you guys like the individual projects real quick, but it'll just end up having to be its own set of videos, I think, to share like what I ended up doing. So this is the newest one I was just working on.
Oh, that's so pretty.
I feel like it's a little fuzzy. I'm not sure why. Who knows? But this is part of the 2-hole set. These are a chevron bead. And I just felt like they would make a really cute, actually, fun story. I was working on my bracelet and people, because I didn't have audio, people thought I was like making a tassel for this bird. And then I like started holding it up to my wrist, explaining, you know, in a miming sort of way that it was going to be part of a bracelet. So the tassel was like kind of an idea born out of people's assumptions about that project. But I'm going to do like another bead here on a second chain and then like some kind of third dangle to create. It'll be a nice long earring, but I really enjoy a long earring if you have followed me at all for a bit. So this combines like the pressed glass, the fire polish, the seed beads, and the 2-hole sets, even though there's just a little bit of each in that piece. So super excited about that. This bird, I'm going to have to do like a little write-up on this one because it has the pressed glass in this wire-wrapped link area. It's got some seed bead accents and fire polish throughout these multi-strand sections in the other side of the bracelet. So it's like a multi-strand and asymmetrical bracelet all at the same time. So I just couldn't make up my mind, to be honest. I wanted to use all the beads with it. But Heather's very well-known humble beads for these signature birds with these gorgeous inclusions of all these polymer canes. So that bead just really needed to be, I thought, kind of shown off and celebrated. This includes more of her, I'm going to get the name wrong. They're these little donut-shaped spacers that always coordinate so well with her other beads in her collections, but just some stacks of different beads from my collection and some like basic wire wrap. I've got soft flex throughout most of these too. I used a lot of the fine, but a little bit of the medium here and there. This is a dagger that I created a little dangle with. And again, my camera feels a little fuzzy, so I don't know how well it's going to show up, but it's actually a 2-hole dagger. So I've got the soft flex like in a figure 8 from the bottom hole to the top hole. And then I looped everything around through my, where I'm hanging that off of twice and did all 4 strands because it's the fine through the crimp beads that I had enough like width to do that crimp on. And then Danielle, you totally would appreciate the seed beads with that little spacer bead as like a focal for, I think it's going to be just like a hoop earring, but because I've got a set of every one of those polymer beads from her collection.
Oh, I love that. Look at that. That's so pretty.
Thank you. So all sorts of fun things.
Wow. And so that when you did that live on your video, it was yesterday?
Well, so Monday, she and I did a video, and really the only thing I worked through by the time we tried to figure out the tech issues and didn't succeed, I showed like parts of my stringing and my wire wrap on this one, but I'm going to sit down, probably do like a little tutorial that's got some hand-drawn like notes about how the whole bracelet's put together, just so people have all the little tips that they need for that. And then with the earrings, because I can replicate everything I've done, and I'll probably do a whole video that shows like each of those earrings start to finish so people get, and then like kind of go over the bracelet. So there's a better kind of summary of what was done with all that.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll be sure to share those when you post those videos. Let me know.
Oh,
Put them out
thank
on my.
you. That's so sweet. I appreciate that.
They're beautiful. I love them. And Rosalinda's saying she's going to add to her order the 2 whole beads.
I saw that. I was like, oh, the subscription is so worth it because then, when you're doing the seed beads at the same time, the shipping's all like, in one order instead of 2 and all that. But I understand. Sometimes people can't really visualize that they're more of seed beaters, all the things they can do with the 2 whole beads ahead of time. So
I just think they're great. 2 whole beads to me open up another layer that you can stitch into and from, and it gives you more options when putting things together. So I really do love a good shaped bead.
If I have a chance, I might try to incorporate some of them into like a herringbone project with your techniques included, because they really do lend themselves well to that stitch.
That'll be so pretty. That'd be cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. This might sit out. This mat might sit out on my bead table for another week or 2, but it'll be good to be able to play some more because I've got so many talented friends. Like I've worked with this collection now. I think this is the 3rd video in the last week because I did mine with Becky last Wednesday, right after everybody started getting their subscriptions in the mail. So I think that's really spurred me to use this set a lot more than I have previously with some of the other months. But I do love these colors, so it doesn't hurt.
And so I've signed up for the seed beads for sure. And so every month I'm going to do at least a project with them. And I'll either do like a standalone video or a PDF or something. And so I always share those out. So if you guys are getting the palettes from Beads to Live By, you can get a pattern from me that'll work with the beads you got. So yeah.
Well, I hope we get a chance to hang out as often as possible because I certainly love our get-togethers when we
do the beads. Yeah, we'll have to do some lives too.
Yeah, for sure.
I had hoped to have something like ready, like prepared, like an actual document, but the weeks have been going fast. They've been going like.
That's just not necessary. I think it's so much fun to this kind of helps. Yeah, I think this also helps you workshop through, future tutorials so you're not creating extra work for yourself. So
that's true. Yeah.
No need for that.
You're good. You're good at keeping me from doing all this stuff. I'm so I don't know. I could just work. I might be into something until 11 o'clock and not realize that I skipped dinner and stuff. The boys went on a camp out recently, and so I was left to my own devices to just do what I wanted. Literally 2 o'clock one night, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's 10. I didn't even make dinner, but I was free to do whatever I wanted." And so I just kept going. And then I was like, "Hang on, do I have a problem?" No, it's all positive, right? Yeah.
You have to make sure and have so if I'm having a little bachelorette week, if Chris is traveling or something, that's exactly what Becky's comment about girl dinner, cheese and crackers. I was like, so it's funny when I'm cooking for myself, sometimes I make more food than I will for just when I have other people around, because it's I want all the things and I get to just have whatever I want, which is everything. So I'll make lots of stuff, but then sometimes it is really good to I'll go to Aldi's and the pre packaged section or the frozen section and just only buy food from those areas so that I can cereal for dinner. Leanne, we can do better than that, I think. But yeah, that is better than forgetting altogether. So
I think so, yeah. And then it's never too late to put on a show too, because you can watch shows and have cereal. I mean, yeah.
And you can watch shows in Bead as long as you're just doing it for fun or you know what you're doing ahead. And I'll watch the really terrible TV if I'm by myself too, reality sort of stuff these days to just kind of turn my brain off.
Yeah, whatever just kind of gets us to, not the doom scrolling stuff, just the good stuff, just funny.
Right. The good, bad stuff.
Value preferred, right?
Yeah, if we keep our hands busy, then we don't doom scroll, guys. So beading is our practice to avoid that.
Oh yeah, Becky's got it figured out. She's got the.
I know. I'm like, oh, now I'm just like totally enthralled with everybody's like plans for how we can feed ourselves properly.
We're all the same. We're all the bead people together on this
Linda,
one.
that's Linda, right? The gumnut jewelry.
Very true. But
well,
hey, I think it's
so much fun to hang out with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for this beautiful, inspiring collection. It was so fun to play with. It's awesome.
I'm just grateful that people enjoy it because it just feeds my ability to continue to like pick out fun things that I like together. So
yeah.
I think I dropped this hint last week, but I'll do it again here since we've got so many of our friends here. The September collection will be just in time for future holiday celebrations. And in case you need even further hints, spooky season is my favorite season. So there might be lots of like moody metallic things with like some pops of burnt orange happening on my tray right now. So you guys better prepare yourselves. If you don't have one or both of the subscriptions, watch for those companion bundles with the fire polish and the pressed glass to drop in the next week or less. And everybody, please join me in thanking Danielle for all of her super inspired creativity. You were so generous with your time and creating these tutorials for us. And I want to make sure that everybody is subscribing on YouTube and liking all your social media because we know how much that helps you. And check out Danielle's shop. She's got so many fun things and mixes going on. Although you did say you're already sold out of your Soft Flex Customer Appreciation Week. I think I'm one kit away from selling out myself. But I don't know about you. I am going to create another colorway.
You're gonna do another one?
It'll just be like closer to the like week of, so people will be able to order those like during the week of customer appreciation. I just won't have time between now and then. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. It's a good idea though, because when we go live, there won't be any there. So
I know. It's like, there won't be any beads left. That'll be sad. So yeah, I think waiting, even though it's like a good idea to release it again that week, it's really like a requirement for me. It's not because I'm just like teasing people like, oh, I've got these beads sitting here, but I'm not going to like release the kit until that week. The beads are in a pile right now of like just beads. There's no kit.
No, but there will be. You'll get it.
But there will be.
Yes. It takes time.
Yes, for sure. But I'm so excited we're participating in that together because we'll see each other in 2 weeks and then we'll have to plot out our next live after that.
We do. We need to get something on the calendar because time is going really fast.
It is.
I also need to update my website calendar too because I realized I don't have September on there yet.
Oh.
And that's like next week. So
several steps ahead of me that you even have a website calendar. So people just have to like kind of search and scroll through my social media to figure out where I'm going to be and what. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you again. Thank you to everybody that watched us tonight.
Yeah, thanks guys. I'm so glad you were here and I hope you had fun and that you'll join us for our next live. We'll have another great project. And just more fun chatting and talking. So
yeah, and if you can't wait a month, you'll see us together in 2 weeks during Customer Appreciation Week. And that whole week is like jam-packed with lots of fun things going on. So
it is a wonderful week. Lots of inspo. And that's the Soft Flex Customer Appreciation Week. And if you go to softflexcompany.com, it's right there in their banner. You can see the whole calendar there.
And they've been great about sharing everybody's projects and the links to that week and its events.
They're so generous. It's so nice of them to do that.
Yeah. No, we really appreciate that. And it's so much fun to hang out with everybody too. So
yeah.
Oh, well, take care, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Have a great rest of your evening.
Bye.